Good morning. I am Melissa Agnes, and this is Morning Lives with me, Melissa Agnes, a daily space to help leaders just like you stay grounded and connected to your inner strength, your inner resilience, your vision, your purpose, what you are here to do, how you are here to lead, the impact that you are here to make. So if you are doing work that matters, which you are, and you want to lead from unwavering steadiness, you want to lead from increased clarity, especially when the answers aren't evident. You want to lead from deeper connection. And for me, connection is always the goal. Connection to self, connection to source or infinite wisdom or whatever you want to call it, and connection to those that you are leading. As you step into what you are called to do, then these morning lives are for you. I show up here every weekday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, to give you one truth, one anchoring message that my intention is always to get people thinking, open perspective, remember what's true, what's real, what's actually important, what you're capable of, what possibility is, etc. And then we follow that with a 10-minute grounding for you to get into alignment, into clarity, into coherence, so that you could lead your day stepped into your complete inner power. All right, so with that, there is a lag. I love your questions. I love your comments. I love your feedback. There's a lag, so if you write it in the chat or in the messaging, the comments, as you watch this live, I'll see it right away. I'll respond, and then you'll hear my response a few seconds later because of the lag. There is no wrong way to do the drop-in. I'll talk more about that later. And then my ask, because I show up here every morning for free, my ask is that you share this with leaders who would benefit from it. That is my ask. We need more leaders who are fully online. We need more leaders in their power, in their coherence, so that we can create more positive impact in the way that the world needs it. Okay, so today, I really kind of was very open-ended with what I wanted to talk about. And with that being said, I'd love to hear from you guys if there's a specific topic that I've talked about in the past that you joined for that you want to hear more of, you want me to go deeper into, or that might have inspired another question that you'd love for me to explore on one of these shows. Please feel free and feel invited to send me your comments, your feedback, what you disagree with, like all of the things. Let's make this more of a conversation, because that's going to fuel more of these lives in a way that truly serves you. And that's what I'm here to do every morning. That is my intention. Today, with that being said, for whatever reason, what dropped in was mindset coaching. And mindset coaching really took off a few years ago. And here is why, while mindset coaching is important, right? Your mindset is so important. In Crisis Ready, at Crisis Ready Institute, we teach that mindset is the core to successful crisis comms and crisis leadership. Like, mindset is so important. But mindset coaching as an end-all be-all, or as anything less than simply a gateway into more expansion, into more evolution and self-development in a productive, positive way, does a disservice. And here's why. Because you can look at yourself in the mirror and say all the things, all the affirmations, all the things that you want to believe and you want to be true. But if you don't believe them to your core, on a fundamental, unconscious, subconscious level, somatically, if you don't feel them, you can say it all you want, it's not going to be true, because your belief systems are actually what create your emotions, your thoughts, your emotions, and bring about what you are able to accomplish or achieve or do or whatever in your life. And so mindset coaching, as I mentioned, is a really good first step, but it needs to go further than that. We talk about this so frequently, right? Our thoughts matter, as Dr. Joe says. Our thoughts matter because our thoughts create matter. Our thoughts create an emotion. Emotion is energy in motion. There is low frequency and high frequency emotionality, right? Or just energies. There's not negative or positive emotion. It's all just kind of ranges. And you can go either fear-based emotions and energies, or you can go love-based emotions and energies. And fear is the lowest frequency and love is the highest. And so if you don't believe, then you don't feel, and therefore, or you don't like raise your vibrations so that you can actually live that as your truth. Let me kind of say that in a different way. I don't feel like that came out properly. Mindset isn't enough, because if you don't believe it to your core, it won't, you're just kidding yourself. So what do you do instead? Your belief systems matter. We talk a lot about our thoughts, right? Choosing our thoughts. We have the ability to choose our thoughts. You can have mindset coaching where you're like choosing your affirmations and you're choosing what you want to think. But if you don't actually fundamentally believe it, then it's all for nothing. And so how do you notice whether you fundamentally believe something? Yesterday we talked about getting still and our 3 intelligence centers. Oftentimes, what you actually believe runs on repeat in the back of your mind, and it dictates everything. So what are some of the things that are running on repeat in the back of your mind that you would like to shift? Focus there and focus on how you actually, like your core beliefs around them. I'll give you an example. I don't know if I've shared this example before, but I'll give you an example, and it's very personal. So I am working to work less and earn more, right? That's always the goal, work less and earn more. And I've always been really great at leveling up and kind of changing my circumstances, and then the money follows, just using money as an example. And so Aaron and I, my fiance and I, we are in the process, we're going to downsize. We're going to change apartments. We're going to downsize this year. And I was like, great. That means if I downsize, if I have less expenses and I keep earning, then I'll have more disposable income to invest for philanthropy, all the things. And I was out walking my dog, Kiara, and all of a sudden I heard in the background of my mind, if you downsize, the money will follow. You will downgrade your income. And I realized that that wasn't a conscious thought. That was a core belief. That was a belief system. So I could look in the mirror with mindset coaching, right? And be like, whatever affirmations I want to believe. But if there's on an unconscious level and a deep somatic inherent level in me, this voice that's telling me, no, the opposite is true. If you downsize, if you need less, you'll earn less. Not if you need less, you'll continue earning and you'll have more to give and more to do. Then that's actually going to be my reality. It doesn't matter how much I tell myself, convince myself that the opposite is true. If I believe that this is truth, then that's what's going to follow. So then where does the work come in? Kiara's coming to visit. So then where does the work come in? The work comes in, yesterday I talked about, come on. The work comes in, sorry guys. The work comes in being able to hear those subtle voices of belief systems. And then, so yesterday we talked about listening and hearing, being able to hear it and then being able to listen to it and act on it, right? So in that moment, I heard that voice come in, and right away I was like, oh, that's deep. I didn't realize that I thought that way. I don't want that to be my reality. So now what do? I get with that part of me, that belief system, and I work to really fundamentally shift it, because that's not true. Right? Just because we believe something doesn't mean it's true. Just because we think something doesn't believe it's true and doesn't make it true. We make it true by giving into it, by believing it, by feeling it. And so mindset coaching on a surface level doesn't help, because if you don't feel it, it's not going to become your reality. If you tell yourself something that you want to believe, but really you believe the opposite, that's the thing that you're feeling, and that's the automatic autopilot that's running in the background that will dictate what you experience and what you attract and what you manifest, what you create, what you achieve. So when it's about being able to listen, it's about being able to listen to those subtle cues and truly hear your deeper belief systems and work with those. There's cognitive behavioral therapy that works for that. There's breath work that works for that. There's embodiment practices that work from that. There's so many different ways that you, and a multitude of ways that you can work on that. And I'm a big believer in it's not just one practice, right? Like I've done cognitive behavioral therapy. I've done homeopathy. I do osteopathy and cranium work there for my nervous system. I do breath work. I do meditation. I do like embodiment activations, like all of this simultaneously, so that you can really get to the core of what you believe as a human and choose what it is, the core of what you believe as a human being on autopilot, and choose differently if you so desire to. All right, can you guys write in the chat if this landed, if this makes sense? And then we're going to go into our somatic practice, our grounded drop-in. So mindset is really the first step. It's a first like beginning, but if you don't believe fundamentally to your core and feel into what you are saying, what you choose to think, what you want to believe, what you want to think, then it's not going to actually serve you. You have to get to the bottom of what your belief systems are and work those. Where does the fear come from? Where does that belief come from? Is it even your voice? Oftentimes, our belief systems aren't our voice. They're the voice of our parents or our teachers or society, right? They've been kind of indoctrined and programmed into our system, and now that's what we fundamentally believe, but not what we want to believe. And you get to rework that. You get to rewire that. And in what I'm saying today is that just choosing to think differently doesn't mean you'll feel differently, which means it's what you feel that really draws the impact. Okay. Shauna says, yes, it's landing. Shauna also said she heard me talking about her. Yeah, she's hurt. Kiara's hurt. She hurt her paw, so she's a little cuddly and needy these days, which I don't mind. I don't know if you guys can see her. She's just really funny. Okay, let's do the somatic practice. I hope that was coherent. Ask questions if you have questions, and let's do our drop-in. I don't want to go over today because I went over by a lot yesterday, and I don't really want to do that. So I want to respect your time. Okay, so for those of you who are new to this, a somatic practice, the grounded drop-in, is when we get out of our brains, which is where fear lives, out of our analytical minds, and into our body, where deeper wisdom, alignment, intelligence, clarity exists, so that we can bring that to the surface and lead from that place of grounded clarity and alignment, rather than from solely the analytical mind. Yesterday I went deep into the science of this. All right, so shutting down distractions, choosing to take the next 10 minutes for yourself so that you can be a more empowered and sovereign leader when you come out of it. If you are driving, obviously don't do this. If you're doing anything where you can't shut down distractions, don't do this. Come back to the recording. If you can shut down distractions, but you are in public, you're at a cafe, or you're in a WeWork, or at an office, and you feel silly because people are going to think you're silly, let's go with who cares what they think, because guess what? You're going to come out of this a more potent, powerful, aligned, feeling great version of yourself. And the more you do this, and the more those who think you might look silly, they probably, first of all, don't think that. They're probably just curious. And then the more they see you have the results, the benefits that this provides you with, the more they're going to go, I want in on that. And you get to be proud of yourself because you led change by example, and that took courage. So let's be scared and do it anyway in this case. All right. What we're going to do, I'm going to guide. We're going to do halo active breathing. So in through the nose, out through the mouth. And here's my invitation today, based on what we talked about. What is something that you wish to be true, that you want to be true about yourself, about your life, that you don't yet have? There's a gap between what you want and what you have, right? And we don't want to focus on the gap because that's scarcity, and scarcity attracts more scarcity. What we want to do in this breathwork session is get curious about, is there, maybe yes, maybe no, is there a core belief system that is creating the gap? Is there something more fundamental? Like when I went for that walk and I realized that fundamentally I believed that my income would follow my expenses, not the other way around, or, that's a fundamental belief system that I have to shift. So let's start by hearing the fundamental belief systems that are actually dictating your reality, so that then you can choose whether you want to shift those, and you can shift them on a deeper, somatic, like bringing the unconscious to the conscious and changing the conscious and then putting that back down to be your wiring system, to be your new automatic co-pilot. So we're going to drop in and I'm going to guide, and you just get to be curious and enjoy and feel good. There is no wrong way to do this. This is about strengthening the connection with yourself. Okay, so shutting down your eyes, getting comfortable, or softening your gaze if that feels better to you. Let's start with the breath. So in through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And on your next exhale, so breathing in through the nose, and on your next exhale, following that breath, it goes out through your mouth, but you follow it all the way down your body until you find the part of your body that is resting upon the seat that you are sitting on. So bring your awareness, which is a great practice in and of itself, choosing your awareness. Bring your awareness down to your sit bones. And as you continue to move that breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, focus on feeling the sensations of your sit bones against the seat that you are sitting on. What do you notice? Can you notice how sturdy and steady that seat is? Which means that you are free, fully permissioned, to sink deeply into that seat, to offload all of your tension and your stress and whatever doesn't serve you, and just give it to the seat, because it won't mind and it won't drop you. It can take it. Keep that breath flowing. And on your next inhale, let's pull that air from your seat, essentially from your root chakra, your root energy center, perineum, bringing it up as you inhale through your nose, bringing that energy, bringing that air up through your body, through your sit bones, through your lower belly, your upper belly, and landing right in your heart space. And as you inhale through your nose, opening up, expanding that heart space as though it's your heart that is taking in the breath. So this might feel like expanding your chest cavity. It might feel like envisioning your heart's electromagnetic field expanding past your bodily border. Either way, no matter what you visualize, letting it feel good. And with every exhale through your mouth, following that breath from your heart space down to your belly, to your solar plexus, to your gut brain. So we're doing a circular breathing here that goes in through the nose, but opening up as though it's your heart that's taking in the breath. And if it helps to put a hand on the heart and a hand on the belly to really bring your focus to those places, and out through the mouth, taking that breath from the heart and sinking it lower into the belly. And letting that feel good, letting that feel soothing, letting that really connect you to your body. as you breathe, let's practice hearing. If you think about something you're desiring, a goal you're going after, a mission you have on your heart, and you think about where you are and where you want to be, quietly to yourself, can you ask yourself, is there something that I believe to be true that is blocking my success, my pathway forward, my impact? And this exercise, just getting curious, this exercise is not about thinking with your brain. Keep that breath flowing. This exercise is about following the breath, asking yourself the question, posing the question, and then coming back to stillness and quiet. And just noticing what you notice. Yesterday we talked about how most people are cut off from the neck down. They don't feel their body. They don't feel the intuition. They don't feel the infinite wisdom and intelligence that comes in through your heart and gut brains. This is a practice in posing a question and then deeply connecting to the body and just noticing what you notice, because maybe you might just notice a whisper of an answer. And that answer will not come from your brain. If it comes from your brain, you're not listening loudly enough. You're not in your body. And this is just an exercise. It's just a practice. This is the work. Keep that breath flowing in through the heart, out of the mouth, following that breath into the belly. Inhaling through the heart and the nose, following the exhale out of the mouth, down into the belly. Letting it feel good. Your breath is your life force. It is allowed to feel good. Last few moments of breath. Keep that breath circulating. Whenever you have a thought that comes from your brain, just come back to your body. Come back to circulating that breath in through the nose and in through the heart. Out through the mouth, down into the belly. Letting it feel good. Letting it ground you. Letting it create stillness, calm relaxation. What you are doing is you are aligning your brain waves with your heart rhythm, with your nervous system. And in this exercise, you are stepping into your most aligned, your most potent, powerful, resonant self. Which means you gain access to more clarity, you gain access to more resilience and inner strength, and you lead the rest of your day in sovereignty, in power, in resonance. It's a very, 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 very potent and powerful decision, gift, and skill. On your next inhale, bringing your hand to your heart, if it isn't there already, and just taking a moment of gratitude. Your body is a gift. Your body is a portal. Your body is access. Your body is safety. Your body always knows. It's just a matter of whether you're tuned in and listening. That is something to be grateful for. And that access to your body is always just a breath away. That is something to be grateful for. And when you're ready, wiggling your fingers and your toes, coming back into the wholeness of your body, and coming back to the screen. And if you feel called, I would love to hear how you feel. If you heard anything, if you heard anything, any answers, any clarity, any belief system where you're like, oh, what was that? I don't want that. Happens to me all the freaking time. And that is such a gift, because then you get to change it. You get to do the work to change the belief system. So today, for those who are just logging in, today we talked about mindset is so important, but mindset coaching as an end-all be-all, not deep enough. Because you can tell yourself to believe something, it doesn't make it true, it doesn't make it what you actually believe. And by true, I mean the truth of what you actually believe. And in order to truly embody your mindset, embody what you want to believe and how you want to live and all the things, you have to feel it. And we all have this programming that's been indoctrinated into us, that's been programmed into us on an unconscious, subconscious level. And that programming overrides the mindset, the words of the affirmation that you're trying to believe. So in order to truly shift the unconscious belief system, we have to allow it, give it space to come to the surface. And it's by being calm and getting still and choosing to hear, right? Not hear what the voice in the head is thinking or saying, but hear what the body is telling you. Hear that quiet, subtle whisper of truth from the body. And when you do that, I gave an example earlier today of something that happened to me recently where I was like, oh, there's a belief system that's dictating my reality. And if I don't meet that belief system at its core and shift it, that reality will never shift, no matter what I want to believe or what I tell myself to believe. Your thoughts create your emotions, which is a big part of like what you attract to you, how you portray and resonate with the world. But your thoughts ending with thoughts and not being attached to a core belief system and an emotion doesn't do anything. So we have to get quiet, we have to get still, we have to ask ourselves the deeper questions of, is there something, and this is something that we do a lot in our household, if there's a goal that we're seeking to achieve and we're not achieving it for whatever reason, right? I won't focus on the scarcity. I won't focus on the gap between where we are and where we want to go. What I'll shift is my line of questioning. I'll turn to Aaron, my fiance, and I'll say, what is blocking us? What core belief system exists in our bodies on an unconscious level that might actually be blocking our progress or our success? What's creating the gap? Nothing outside is creating the gap, so what on the inside is creating the gap? And get still and get quiet and get real and get curious. And then when you discover what the belief system is, then if you want to change it, that's where the work begins. It doesn't rest in looking in the mirror and telling yourself to think something or telling yourself to believe something. That won't work. Fake it till you make it won't work in this case. Because there's an underwriting current and programming that is dictating your reality. Get with that. All right. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you. I am here every single weekday at 9 a.m. Eastern to share one perspective, one truth, one anchoring message. To open perspective is always my goal, so that you can get curious and decide what's true and real and serves you. And then we do a grounded drop-in. And if these are beneficial to you, my only ask in this moment is to share these morning lives. Please share them with somebody who you believe will benefit from them, because we need more aligned, present, resonant, coherent leaders, and that is my goal. All right, Shauna did ask, she said, I want to talk about how to utilize this for physical pain at some point. Thank you for that suggestion. If you guys have questions or comments or asks, please send them to me, because now I get to consider that for a future live. All right, I am wishing you a beautiful Thursday, and I will be back tomorrow morning, Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern, live on LinkedIn and IG simultaneously for another morning live with me, Melissa Agnes. I wish you a beautiful day. Bye.